Hey everybody, I'm Dave with Grow in the Home Garden. Today I want to talk to you about crepe myrtles. There's something that happens with them that is definitely not something to be concerned about, but it might make you question, is something wrong with my tree? And this is just a normal growth pattern of a crepe myrtle when it grows into a tree form. Now, if you've been lopping it off, performing what's collectively known as crepe murder, then you probably won't see this. If you let it grow into the natural tree form of the crepe myrtle tree, it's going to have this and it's going to look amazing. This is a feature, not a bug. See, so here's one of my crepe myrtle trees, and you'll notice here that the bark is all coming off. It's peeling away from the tree. We can actually just pull this off and it comes down in these big pieces here. But what's revealed underneath is a really beautiful, smooth surface, okay, of the bark, and this is perfectly normal. So if you ever see your crepe myrtle tree and it's doing this, where it's creating all this exfoliating bark is coming off, that is perfect. That is exactly what you want it to be. Now, crepe myrtles don't normally want to be lopped off at 5 or 6 feet tall. Okay, that's called crepe murder. That's typically it's a horticultural crime, really is. But over here, you know, this tree here and most of the others that I've got in the yard, I've grown as a tree form. So they've got these really nice trunks, and you can see the exfoliating bark that's coming straight off of those, and it's revealing kind of this mottled bark that just looks really cool. So it gives you some winter interest when nothing else has any leaves on it. Gives you something cool to look at. It kind of reminds me of a birch tree, how it's losing the bark and then it's creating something really neat to look at underneath. So here's another crepe myrtle I've got. This one's up a little closer to the house. And if you notice here, it's got this really long branch coming off the side. Now what I do with my crepe myrtles is I try to make them have no more than, say, 5 or 6 main trunks. This one has about 4, and there's actually one that I probably ought to cut off. But what happens when you do that is all the growth goes into the trunk and it creates this really beautiful trunk. And then over here, you can see the exfoliating bark once again on this tree. And I'm trying to get around a rose bush, so but it just peels right off, and that will do it on its own. You don't actually have to remove that like I'm doing now. I'm just kind of doing it because it's kind of cool to do. You know how you pull things off the stuff, and I don't know, it's neat. But this branch here, I actually need to cut that off because it has gotten really long and it's kind of shooting straight over there over top of the garden pathway. Now when pruning them, you cut off pretty much anything around the sucker area, down around the base. And eventually, as you do that, they will stop creating those suckers. Like this one has not suckered in a really long time. And they kind of push their growth up high. I actually need to go get a pole saw and cut off some of these that are going over the house. You see that part right there? Those all need to be cut back over here to the main trunk. So I just have a couple of main trunks kept like this. But if you do that, your crepe myrtle trees will look really good over time. They'll grow into a tree form here, and they really look amazing. If you do it the other way, where you kind of lop them off at the top about 5 foot, they start to gather up in these knots of where the branches would come out. And to me, it kind of looks like a fist coming out of the ground in protest of being pruned that way. So do yourself a favor, grow your crepe myrtles in a tree form similar to this, and you will really enjoy them. Plus, they can create really good shade areas. Like over here, the hosta garden area was created partially because I've got a crepe myrtle there, there, and there. Those 3 trees there allowed me to underplant with all these hostas, hydrangeas, and things like that. So when you're doing your crepe myrtles, grow them as a tree form. Don't grow them as a short shrub that you lop off the top off of. So anyway, I'm Dave with Grow in the Home Garden. Please hit the like button, subscribe. Love to have you following along for more videos on garden stuff.